and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. We're now at the turning point of James's opening thoughts. He's walked us through trials. He's told us how to evaluate them. He's shown us what they're producing, endurance. And now he says something surprising. Let it work. Let steadfastness have its full effect. That word let is small, but powerful. Because if I can let something, I can also resist it. I can interrupt the process, bail out, fight back, try to escape. James is pointing to our response again. The whole section is about how we choose to engage the difficult parts of life. Because trials don't automatically produce growth. Not everyone who suffers becomes mature. Some become bitter. Others become prideful. But James is saying, if you stay surrendered, if you stay under the weight and let the endurance run its course, something beautiful happens. You start to become whole. The phrase for perfect and complete isn't about sinless perfection. It's about maturity. The Greek word for perfect here, it means to be brought to full development. It's used throughout the New Testament to speak of spiritual adulthood, growing up into Christ, becoming someone who reflects his nature, not just in beliefs, but in character. Paul echoes this same idea in Ephesians 4 when he talks about growing into the full measure of the stature of Christ. This is what testing is meant to lead to. Not just survival, not just stronger faith, but transformation. James isn't trying to make us tougher. He's calling us to become truer, more aligned with God's holiness, more like Jesus, to be image bearers. He's envisioning a life that's mature, steady, integrated, a life not easily thrown off by hardship, the kind of person who no longer lacks the essentials for godly living. Not because life is easy, but because something unshakable has been formed in them. In this language, lacking in nothing should ring a bell. Earlier, James talks about trials of various kinds. Later, he talks about lacking wisdom. But here, he's saying, when endurance finishes its work, there's a kind of wholeness that begins to show up in you. It's an image of someone who doesn't need constant escape, distraction, or control to feel okay. Someone who isn't swerved by trials, temptations, or applause. Someone who's rooted, full-grown, whole. This is what grace wants to build in us. This is what obedience makes room for. So the question James is pressing into is simple but challenging. Will you let it work? Will you let endurance stretch you, steady you, shape you, until your life begins to look more like Christ? Because James isn't talking about some abstract internal character trait. He's not content to leave this in the realm of theory or theology. He's going to get concrete, practical. He's going to show us what this kind of maturity actually looks like, in how we treat people, in how we speak, in how we respond to pressure, to temptation, to injustice. The fruit of maturity in James's view is visible, measurable, not performative, but integrated, lived. And this is the first big step. Will I let the pressure I'm facing push me toward Christ-likeness? Because that's the goal. Christ-likeness, wholeness, spiritual adulthood. This isn't about becoming perfect in performance. It's about becoming complete in formation, lacking nothing that's necessary for life in the kingdom. So don't rush out of the trial. Don't short-circuit what grace is doing. Let it work. Let it finish. Because what's being formed in you is far more valuable than what's being taken from you. Tomorrow, James 1:5 shifts us into asking. What do you do when you don't know what to do? Wisdom. Let's talk about it.